All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market show. Hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hope you had a great day yesterday. Good morning, Peter. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Carlos. I am great. And how are you on this morning?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Just another week down, and just I'm looking forward to next week. I know I sound very excited, but has nothing to do with the markets, man. It's all about last day of school next week. So I cannot express how excited I am to
Is,
not be a teacher anymore part time. So looking forward to that.
is that even meaningful? Have you been teaching straight through?
Every time after the market, I trade for like about half hour or so. Then I am become a part-time teacher here at home, doing Zoom meetings, doing this, doing projects. I mean, it's just I'm ready. I'm ready, and I'm praying these kids go back to school in September. That is my prayer from now on. So, shout out to any teachers out there for the great job that they do, and to all the parents doing any schooling at home as well. All right, guys, let's get to it. Obviously, we're something happening here, a bit of a swing. We are now have a huge gappers list this morning, as you can see right on here. So a lot in the green this morning with the SPY, obviously slightly up after a bit of a bigger than expected red day yesterday. I know we're talking about this in the chat room, Peter, how we knew the pullback is normal. But again, this it seemed to go deeper than what we expected yesterday. So let's get into the market pulse and see what's going on there.
Well, like you said, Carlos, I mean, the days certainly aren't boring. Remember yesterday morning we were in the red, and as we said, all signs were pointing down, but just be careful because you never know with this market. We did see a little bit of an attempted rally, if you will, at the open yesterday, but the market went down for pretty much most of the day. After that first 45 minutes or so, was not able to push higher, and as you said, the market went deeply red. But then we wake up this morning and suddenly we're gapping up again. So you know what? It is really hard to know at any point in time what's going to happen with this market. Whereas yesterday, if you look at a chart of yesterday, everything was red on the chart. I mean, I don't think there's a single stock ticker that ended up green on the stuff that I was looking at. Um, and then this morning, pretty much everything is gapping into the green. So this morning, it is a Friday. I think we're going to have a normal Friday. What a normal Friday means to me is normally you see slightly lower volume than your average day, but the morning can be very active. So this morning should be good as is any morning, but we might see a slowdown in terms of volume and activity this afternoon. That being said, like I said, it's never boring, so you never know what to expect. For announcements today, the import price index, that's the U.S. import price index, should be out any minute now if it's not already. That actually, it's already out, and the number was down slightly versus estimates, so it's at 0.5% versus 0.6%. Keep in mind the prior period was at though this is the export prices, was at negative 3.3%. So we're better than we were last time, but still that's not a great number. So probably will not have a big impact on the market. And at 10 a.m. we do have the consumer sentiment index. I don't expect that to have a huge impact on the market. But those are the only two sort of major announcement activities we have for this morning. So as Carlos said, we've got a big list to get through. And it's almost the opposite of yesterday, right? We had all of the transportation stocks that were down. Today they're all up. So let's see what we've got.
Yeah, everything that was down yesterday is up this morning. Only one in the red so far, OKE. So let's dive into that one, see what's going on there. And then, as you can see, guys, here the gapping up list just huge. Tons of stuff in double digits this morning. The stuff that we've been watching closely as well, the travel stuff. We'll get into what's happening there. All right, so let's look at OKE, which is gapping down this morning. We'll start with that one. This one right now is showing 1.7 million shares traded right now. And we're down 7.9 this morning. So again, a nice big drop for them. Looking at their daily, it looks okay. Again, not sure what kind of company this is. Not sure if it's foreign. The volume is a little bit lighter than usual, but not too bad. 7.5 for the most part,
It's
million shares.
U- it's a U.S. oil and gas company, and the news is that they do have a secondary offering. They're
Yeah.
issuing 26 million shares at $32. So if you notice, the price sort of went down towards 32 and took a little bit of a bounce. That's probably because of that secondary offering. So they're looking to raise around $800 million out of this offering.
Yeah. So again, that type of catalyst, guys, usually does not trade very well. So I'm inclined to just take this one off unless we see something that makes it interesting, or if it comes up in our scanner. So with that said, let's look at what's gapping up this morning. Let's start with what's at the top here, XSPA. Now this one here, guys, this is one that. Again, it starts off very well, but it can be so choppy into the open, and we've seen that several times. Actually, look at this post-market action. That looks better than the actual intraday action. So look how it traded yesterday. A drop here, but again, lost volume right away. It just became pretty choppy. And then after hours, trades amazing. So again, this is one of these stocks that, and it's done that several times, guys. If we go back and look at it, here's another day. Let's look at this open. Again, somewhat of a poppy, but then it just loses volume and completely becomes just pure chop. So I am not a huge fan of this one. I think that some of the good days that we have had here has passed already. When we had some of these beautiful gap ups and days that ran quite a bit with some major volume, right? We had a lot of volume on these days. Today could be that day, but right now I'm not seeing anything that's overly exciting on this one. I'll throw it on here, guys, but very rarely would I keep this on my final list. Next, we have JFIN. Now, this is one that went wild a couple of days ago. It went all the way up to 30 from around $5. Remember this here? Today, they got some volume, 638. They're up 30%. But again, this type of low flow activity is just not great. Even their pre-market action now with the amazing volume is not creating anything that's clean. After 7, you can see some kind of movement here for the most part. But again, just one of these stocks that you want to be cautious with. 11 million shares flow here. Is there any catalyst on this one worth watching?
They did have earnings yesterday. Keep in mind this is a Chinese information, like IT services company, internet content. I don't actually know what they do, to be honest, but I just know it's a Chinese internet company. I don't have a lot of details on what their earnings actually were. It doesn't look like there's many analysts following them, but as you said, I just look at that price action and say, yeah, nothing I am particularly interested in. And it keeps popping on and off our list as it goes above and below $5. So.
Yeah. So again, we'll put it on the side for now. AZUL, another one here that has been also very active right now. They have 206. How did they trade yesterday? I know they were on the list yesterday, the day before. But again, without looking at the price action, let's just see what we have here as far as data on the candles here. So 5-minute looks okay, looks decent. Then it sold off after that. Obviously, a lot of stuff selling off into the day yesterday. Again, I'm not sure about this one, guys. I didn't see the price action yesterday. I took it off my list. Right now, pre-market action is really scattered all over the place. So you do have 206,000 shares traded. A lot of it sitting right here in this one candle. Probably transactions being recorded at 47,000 shares. So we'll throw it on here as possible, but I'm not liking that one neither. All right, first airline up here. Yeah.
As a Brazilian, it's a Brazilian airline. So if you're going to play the airlines and you're just about to get to it, I would just stick to the North American ones, because at least the price action is good and they're not going to be influenced by movements on other markets.
Agree 100%. I remember you did mention that, I think yesterday or the day before on this one. Rather play the U.S. airlines for sure. Better pre-market action, a lot more volume. Here's Safe, guys. Some really good pre-market activity. Look at the range right now we're having here. High of the pre-market at 1895, the low at 1751. So already a nice little range here. Some good volume, 1.6. I think this one is worth watching. So I'll put this one on here. Next, let's just go through the airlines now. American Airlines also here. 4.6 million shares. A lot of the airlines are going to look very similar on their daily chart, right? Nice little pop here all the way up to this level, somewhat above their last area of resistance where they couldn't get above, and then coming right back down to almost very close to where that we had that prior resistance. So airlines going to have this same pattern now. We're bouncing back up a bit after a couple of days in the red here, especially yesterday. And this one actually didn't really sold off much yesterday because it dropped down so much, right? A lot of stock dropped down a little bit and then they sold off after that. This one has dropped down so much that the red candle is not as aggressive as some other stuff we saw, like Starbucks and those other companies. So this one is up nice, guys. Some really good volume. Let's take a look at United Airlines. This one's also looking very similar. So today on the airlines, guys, you could be very picky. Here's Delta. Delta also good pre-market action right now, but Save, I gotta say, Save has a decent, very good pre-market action compared to everything else. So I'm inclined to keep Save. I usually take it off because it's a lower price. I like Delta and usually United, but for the most part, I think Save is looking pretty good today. I'm going to keep this one on the list. All right, let's head back up, and then we have the next one is going to be SSL. And this one here, what did it do yesterday? Let's go back here. So again, traded very well yesterday, guys. Look at this nice, beautiful drop here. Again, kind of try to get going here. Couldn't get above these moving averages, and then an amazing drop down here today. Right now, pre-market action 218 up 13.7. I think this might be worth watching. This might be worth taking a look at. First cruise line on here, NCLH. This one obviously going to be active, guys. You definitely want to keep at least this one or CCL on your list. Both of them looking very good right now. Very similar to the airlines. We got the pop and the drop, and now the little bounce, getting some good double-digit gapping up this morning. So a gap up this morning. So I'm gonna add. I'm gonna keep CCL, but you can keep NCLH, no problem. They both look very, very good. Next we have CAR. And I know this one is one we have mentioned before. This is Avis, by the way. They're also up nicely, 12% this morning. Pre-market action a little bit light, only 105, and I'm not seeing all that great activity. But I think this is worth giving a shot if we're going to get going. All right, I'm not going to go through all of these guys. Let's see if we see some other ones that we've been kind of tracking. MGM is one that's been pretty active as well. Had a nice big drop a couple of days ago, 2 days ago. And then yesterday, you can see here, nice big range, but not really doing much. Right now, it doesn't look all that great pre-market action. Let's look at BA. BA has been amazing, putting in a good pre-market activity as well. Going to remove some of these levels and make that a little bit clearer. But I think BA is worth watching, guys. It's been pretty good. To watch. Here's Macy's. What's Macy's up to? 1 million shares traded right now. We are up 7% on Macy's. Let's see how it traded yesterday, because Macy's tends to be a little bit choppy, just like some of these retail companies. Had a big pop at the open, so nice big pop. Actually, a nice drop here once it got back to the moving average in the VWAP. So for the most part, traded well. But again, almost everything had this, right? Had this pop because obviously it sold off a lot in the pre-market. So you had this one pop here, and then eventually came back down with the market. Just scanning through, guys, to see if we see anything that might have something interesting. Uber has been exciting to watch after that deal that they did not go for. Right now, they're pretty much flat, not much volume. For only 136,000 shares traded right now. Again, just so much on here. mRNA, what is that up to? Not doing all that much right now. So, all right, guys, I'm not going to go through this list. We have tons on here. Let's see what you guys have. Peter, what do you like this morning on your end?
Well, I guess I have to start with AMD, one of my favorites. Just look at the 3-day daily chart on AMD. Like it had, it was flat, then it had a big up day, total uncertainty candle and doji at the top, and then pretty much an engulfing candle on the way down yesterday. Just such a weird daily chart. I expect action on it today, and already pre-market it's got a nice steady uptick. We'll see what happens with AMD, but it's been a good trader, and if you've been paying attention to it, there was some great opportunity for trades on it. So that's certainly one that's interesting me, even though there's no specific news. And the other one is Tesla. Again, nothing specific on Tesla. I mean, there's always little bits of news coming out on it, but it's once again, it's down below $1,000, again flirting with that level. I think that it's going to want to be pushed up above that and perhaps hold up there, but we'll see. I mean, if the market stays green, I think that'll give it all the incentive it needs to push back up above 1,000. But be careful in this one, because it is $1,000 stock, which means a $2 spread is not unreasonable actually for it, and it often will have like big spreads and move very wildly. So be cautious. Yeah.
This one can definitely move on you. We saw that 2 days ago as it tried to get above that 1,000, which it did, but man, it definitely took some work to get there. All right, guys, let's see what we have. Let's start with Edwin here. He has CLDX this morning. Let's take a look at what's going on there. So CLDX, yes. CLDX. All right, so here we go, guys. This one had a couple of big days here. What is the float on this one? Let's bring this over from TI. Just going to get a look at what we have on this one. All right, CLDX 17.5. So a little bit on the lower side. Anything under 20 we want to be cautious with. But this one here, continuation from the last couple of days, 833,000 shares traded right now, up 9.8. It's looking better than JFIN, that's for sure. So I want to keep an eye on this one. Again, I would not trade this one, but for the low flow team, this could be a good one to keep an eye on. All right, what else we have? Let's go over here. Tesla we have on our list. AMD. We do have as well. Again, yesterday AMD was incredible, and I think AMD, if it wasn't for the market, I think AMD was ready to continue exploding here, guys. I think the market really hurt it yesterday, as you can see, obviously. But this move, this aggressive move, Peter, that we're talking about all week, right? That is just kind of gave it all back right now. So AMD's been
Yeah.
good, guys. Some
I
good.
see. I see a couple of our members mentioning some of the earnings plays. They're not on our list because of volume, but Lululemon, they missed their numbers and are gapping down. But again, very low volume, terrible pre-market. This is one that can be big spread and gappy, but I know Brian has watched it in the past. So if you're interested, that's the news behind Lulu. Play, Dave and Buster's, they missed their numbers as well. We saw a little bit of action post-market yesterday with them as we were watching after earnings. So far today, they're actually gapping up. So I'm not sure what to expect out of Play. It's not often a great mover, but you may want to keep an eye on it. And Adobe would be the third one, ADBE. They had mixed numbers where they beat revenue, but missed on their earnings. I don't like trading it, but if you look at the daily chart, it tends to have a nice steady run up. So it could push a little bit higher this morning.
Yeah, I have never had any success with ADBE, so I tend to stay away from it. But I do like if it can pick a direction here. I mean, it can be exciting to watch. So I'm gonna keep play on there. Lulu is another one that, as you mentioned, that's also not one that's easy to trade. But I know, like you mentioned, Brian and some other people, they love trading these stocks. There's just some stocks that you can read the price action very well, and you want to keep those on there. So we'll do levels for it, but might not make my final list. Here we have Apple. I see some people throwing that one out. Let's take a look what's happening there. So Apple this morning, very active, 435. It is up 2.4. Again, and Apple has just been a monster, guys. Really strong over the last couple of months. You can see here just trending up nicely. Obviously, big red day yesterday with everything going on with the SPY. But these guys, if there's any indication of some green here with the markets, this thing is going to easily, I think, go back up to 355. So I think Apple is worth watching as well. All right, play. We have PBH, also possible earnings play here. PBH, not much volume right now, so pretty light on the volume, only 28,000. So I'm gonna push that aside for right now. HTZ, let's take a look at that. HTZ, again, these guys have had so much news behind it for possible bankruptcy, and they got some wild moves over the last couple of days, going away from 50 cents, 40 cents up to $6, and just kind of flirting around this $3 mark right now. So I'm not sure what to think about it. This is up 51% with 12 million shares. Let's see how some of this action has been trading. Yesterday, not that bad actually. So yesterday, not a bad trading day based on that. And the day before that, this would have been another open here as well. Again, without looking at the price action, these trading candles look pretty good, but I just don't like the overall news around this one. And right now, unless we see something great, I'm not inclined to have it on my list. It has amazing volume, guys. 13 million shares traded. So we'll throw it here as a possible. But it's one of those stocks with that type of volume. It could be very choppy. Yeah.
Brian was doing some interesting research on Hertz yesterday and was talking to us about it in the afternoon. That it was, normally what happens on stocks declaring bankruptcy is when they go into bankruptcy protection, usually the sort of the large market players will short this in a position down to, and you saw it got down to 40 cents is what they were expecting, and then we're looking for it to hold. But apparently the retail players got involved in this quite heavily and caused it, which is exactly what caused it to sort of spike back up to $6, which in turn caused a bunch of short covering by the major institutions. So Brian was reading that, more or less the unknowledgeable retail players forced the knowledgeable smart money to cover their positions because it was pushing Hertz up. I find it humorous that we en masse, if you will, or the Robin Hood traders, as people like to call them, is a general term. We're forcing the smart money out of their positions. Hertz is probably going to go back down to that dollar or sub-dollar area, but it's once the retail sort of flows out of it. So, like you said, I don't expect anything exciting out of it at this point. Unless they quickly come out of bankruptcy and restructure, which doesn't look likely at this point. It's probably not going to be all that exciting.
Yeah, yep, I agree. It's a tough space to be in with these car rental companies, that's for sure. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna keep it on here as a possible, guys. But I just noticed I don't have shares for sure on there with IB anyway, so it just might not make my list here, guys. We have so many other stuff that might be moving a whole lot better, so I'm gonna have those on our main list. All right, let's see what else we have, guys. HTC, that's good. We have that one. Zoom and GrubHub. Let's take a look there. Let's start with Zoom. Zoom is incredible. I mean, it just continues to just keep going up here, guys. So right now it is up just slightly under 1%. Pre-market action is not looking all that exciting, but we've seen this so many times out of Zoom where you don't get a great pre-market activity, but at the open it's very, very active. Look at it yesterday too. Same situation, not the best pre-market action, and look at it just go here. Just a nice, beautiful pop all the way up to 232 from opening up at a 219. So again, I think Zoom is doing well. Also, look at their daily, very nice daily pattern here, back to this level of resistance they have had in the past. It did pop above that yesterday, so possible continuation. I like Zoom this morning. I'm gonna throw this on here. Let's look at GrubHub. This is another one that has some good news and also doing very well. Pre-market action very, very light right now, only 67,000. So again, not all that exciting. Yesterday had a way better pre-market activity, and we did get some action early on. After that, it was just pure chop, guys. After 11, just look at this here, not much going on. So I'm on the fence on this one, but their daily, it is looking well because you're above this previous day close line, which has been an area of somewhat resistance right on here. So you're above that, possible continuation to try to get to some of these highs of this one day we had here. When this is back on May 12th. Look at this one pop here. So that's pretty good. All right, what else, guys? Let's take a look at one more. ADBE, we looked at BITA. Let's take a look at this one. This was up 9.5, 467. Peter, you have any news on this one? This is looking pretty exciting right now as far as movement.
BITA. It looks
BITA.
like interesting. Oh, sorry, my mic is acting a little weird here. Interestingly, yeah, BITA, the news is that Tencent, which is a Chinese company, is looking to try and take it private. So they've temporarily, or at least unconfirmed rumors that they've got a 1.1 billion all cash deal that they're essentially going to buy out the stock to take it private again, which would be an interesting move. And did they have earnings? Yes, apparently they did have earnings as well. I don't see what the results were. If anybody has that and you can help me out, that's good. So a couple of bits of news that may cause this to move. I've tried to trade this in the past. It's real hit or miss. Like I don't like what I'm seeing pre-market, and that could be because if they are taking it private, that's going to have a fixed price on what they're going to buy the shares back at. So.
Yep. So, all right, guys, we'll keep it on here for now, just in case. Again, pre-market is starting to get going. We do have some volume here, but some of those candles are creating a lot of activity. For example, 94,000, a lot of these, and not really moving all that well. So let's see how that goes. All right, last one here. RCL has a good daily. This is one of their cruise lines. Let's see. Yeah, RCL does have a good daily, also for a squeeze, but CCL also looks this way. If you look at CCL, you got the same exact pattern, and if you look at NCLH, these all been trading very, very similar. So again, they all are potential for a possible squeeze, but RCL, you can go with that one also. This looks good as well. A little bit higher price than the other two, but again, you cannot go wrong with any one of these. It has a great pre-market activity. It's up 11%. But again, I think if you're trading these, you have to keep an eye on the SPY, guys, because they really have been following whatever the market has been doing. So keep cautious there. All right, let's see on YouTube. What are we watching this morning? So we have Uber we looked at, Microsoft. Let's take a look at that one. Peter, did you trade Microsoft yesterday at the close or no?
I should have, because there actually was a good short opportunity, but no, I didn't.
Okay. I know you went, there was 1 week you went almost every day taking it short at the close. I was watching that, so that was fun to watch.
Yeah, it was a week and a half or so, and it's still the joke because I keep watching it. I like the way it moved. Yesterday, actually, Microsoft had some great moves. I did take a short play, but I was in too early. Right idea, wrong timing. But yeah, it actually moved fantastic yesterday.
Excellent. All right, so here, guys, Microsoft right now, very similar to a lot of the stocks, is kind of gapping up a little bit here, just kind of going sideways. I'm not seeing anything all that overly excited, but again, I think a lot of the stocks are going to look like this. You can watch the ones that you like to trade. If you like to trade Microsoft, put it on your list, and a lot is going to depend on what the SPY is going to do today. So we'll see. We have a whole bunch of stocks here we're going to go through and fine tune this a little bit more. Let's take a look at NKLA. This one is one that was incredible over the last couple of days. It's still hanging in there, up 7.8 this morning, 297. And let's just remember what the flow was on this one, NKLA. This is, I don't have a flow for this on Trade Ideas. So I'm going to put this on the side. So NKLA, I don't have a flow.
Yeah, that's, yeah, we had looked that up before. It's about $23 million, the float on that.
Mm-hmm. So
23 million shares, sorry.
Yep. So I'll put it down here, guys. I know some people will like to watch this one for a possible continuation. So we'll put it there. If we have time, we will do some levels for it. All right, I see some people throwing out Snap this morning. Let's take a look at what's happening with Snap. Not a lot of volume, guys. 119 for Snap is almost nothing. This type of stock trades very heavily. When it is in play, you can see some really good activity early on. You're looking at 700,000, 1 million shares easily. Same thing with Twitter. When these guys are in play, their volume is very, very heavy. So I'm not seeing much from them right now. Definitely doesn't seem like they have any catalyst on their own. If they're going to follow the SPY or the market, there's other stocks that are going to move a lot better if they're going to be following the SPY, especially airlines, cruise lines, and you also have like the AMDs, the MUs of the world. So take a look at those. All right, guys, let's go over to announcements. We'll come back and do some levels, fine tune this list a little bit more after we come back.
Okay. Well, yeah, let's get to these announcements, guys. So this week we had our sort of second week in a row of mindfulness activities. And it was a great session on Wednesday. So if you weren't there live, go to the recording. It's well worth it. And it's a good session that Mark Randall took us through on Mind Fitness. Next week, for our success webinar, I will be doing one on my double top strategy. I just mentioned Microsoft a couple of minutes ago. It was a great example of a perfect double top setup with my moving average cross. It had a lot of the elements, but we'll talk about that. What it takes, what I look for, how you can watch it set up, and how you know when to play it and when to avoid it. So that'll be next Wednesday, June the 17th at 8 p.m. Every week we always do a psychology webinar series. This week it was with Sanjay. Sanjay took us through an actual meditation session, which was really neat. In fact, I was practicing the techniques this morning of the single nostril breathing. If you were there, you know what I mean. 2 fingers, forehead. Anyways, but it was a great, it actually allowed me to think, and because when you're doing that, you don't think about much other than breathing, which was a pretty cool session. So, and then next week we're working on it. We were going to originally record a podcast, but I've got so much great material that we're going to be pushing our podcast recording back, if I can say it. So we'll see what we'll be doing next week. So stay tuned for what's going to be happening within our psychology webinar series for next week. As we've been mentioning, if you're interested in joining us, we'd love to have you here. You can join for a discounted $24 using the code PREMARKET24. You can, if you're just getting started, we've got great material to help you know, like, what do I do first, right? And our onboarding class is something that you can attend live. Plus, of course, all of the myriad of recordings that we've got within our education center that you'd have access to. But the most important thing is to join the chat room, see what it's like, see if this is a place you want to participate as a member, as part of our community. And we'd love to see you in there. And you can do it for, as I said, $24, code PREMARKET24. We've been talking about our podcast for a while. I just mentioned the podcast, for example, that we're going to be recording with Dr. Katz. I've got a few coming up that I'm really looking forward to everybody hearing and getting the response on. So we've got one coming out this coming Tuesday. So that'll be a new release. You can look for that. Just search Talk with Traders at your favorite podcast provider, and you will find our podcasts there. Some great material, and for me, they're just a lot of fun to record. Hopefully they're just as much fun for you to listen to. And we talk every day about how to prepare for the market, how to get ready here in the pre-market show. But going into the close, we like to talk about how the day went, take you through closed trades. As Carlos was mentioning earlier, I've been trading Microsoft quite a bit into the close. So we often sort of do those live trades with you. Mike, Brian, and myself take you through to the close, and we usually have a little bit of fun. It's Friday today, so you never know what to expect. Maybe it's another hat day. I don't know. We'll figure something out. But any suggestions, you let me know, and maybe we'll incorporate it. So that's the market close, starting at 3:30 through till a little bit after 4, depending on what's happening. Yesterday we stuck around for some earnings. Took a watch at some of those we were mentioning, like Lulu and Play. Today being a Friday, there won't be any earnings, but we will certainly maybe raise a toast, a little drink for everybody into the weekend. So join us 3:30 on YouTube. In the room, we're there all afternoon.
Excellent. Thank you, Peter. We have GUNX here popping up. So someone mentioned this one in the chat. Yeah, this is starting to get going. We got some really good volume here, up 19%. So again, the pre-market very active. I'm going to put it down here as possible. So let's see if we can get to that one towards the end. All right, guys, let's fine tune this list a little bit more. We have a lot on here. XSPA right now, very active, 843,000 shares traded. Do we have shares for short? We do not, unfortunately. So as far as levels, you pretty much cover right now. Highs and lows got you taken care of here. I'm going to remove it, guys. This one, I looked at how it trades during the day. It doesn't trade all that clean. I'm not liking what I'm seeing. Their pre-market action tends to be a lot better than the actual trading, intraday trading. So at the open. So I'm going to take this one off right now and make room and leave room for something else. Save is good, guys. I'm going to keep this one. I'm also going to keep Delta. These two are looking very good this morning. You cannot go wrong with any of the other ones. As we mentioned, United and American Airlines are also great. But for some reason, I think Save today has a very clean pre-market action, and also their daily looks very nice as well, same as Delta. Here's SSL also starting to get going here, 320. Hopefully the pre-market can get better as more volume comes in. Right here, it's not looking all that great, but their daily though looks very nice here as we're setting up. So again, this is a foreign company, so not really a fan of it. I believe if I think I remember it, it's a foreign company. So we'll see if I keep this one on here. CCO is good. We'll keep that one. CAR, I'm not sure about this one. Pre-market's a little bit light, so I'm gonna remove it for right now. BA is good. We'll keep that one. This one has a great pre-market action, and usually we've been seeing this pre-market action carry into the open, so I'm gonna keep an eye on that one. AMD is good. Tesla is great, guys, but again, this is now becoming a very high price stock. I personally am going to remove it from my list. And as far as levels, it's pretty easy, right? Your all-time high here, your levels are set for you. Just add the pre-market low here and you're set to go. The highs and lows got you covered here, previous day close. So you're pretty good on Tesla, so I'll remove this one for now. Let's look at Play. I like Play this morning. I think we got some potential to squeeze here if we can get going as the country continues to open up and signs of going back to normal here. This could be one that gets going. Lulu this morning has news. They're down quite a bit, 3.6. Actually, one of the ones that not a lot of stuff is down today. These guys are down, so I want to keep an eye on them. Hopefully they can trade well and get the volume. Apple is good. Zoom is good, and Microsoft is good, but I'm going to remove Microsoft and I'm going to remove Apple as well. So I think this is a better list right now. Okay, let's start with Save this morning. So right now, high of your pre-market is being tested 3 times, at least twice already. You have it here and here. Right now, let's see if we can get above that. If we decide to squeeze above this pre-market high, we do have the high from yesterday creating a beautiful level here. Resistance, support, and resistance right at 21.39. So that's cover. And then above that, you do have another 24.10, and obviously all the way up here 25.60. Towards the bottom, the highs from a couple of days got you covered here at 18, so you're good there. And then towards the bottom, previous day close, moving averages also 11.52, the low from yesterday. Let's go over to Delta, guys. Delta also looking pretty good as well. Right now, trying to get above this pre-market high, which is slightly close to the high from yesterday. Also showing resistance here, support, and more resistance, and now we're slightly above that. We're breaking through it, so that's good. Next level is the high from yesterday, so let's see if we can get into that area. But that's a long stretch there, guys, from 30 to 33. I'll be looking out for 32, 31. These are levels you want to definitely keep an eye on because, again, that's a big move to get going here. Towards the bottom, I'm just going to mark down the low of the pre-market. We do have previous day close and also the low from yesterday on here as well. Here is SSL. So again, it's starting to get going. I would love to see a better pre-market activity out of this, but if this volume can keep going, their daily looks great. I know it's a foreign stock, guys, but this looks like a great daily here. It just needs more volume. So right now, volume is and it has 352, guys. But when I see volume, I'm talking about better pre-market activity, right? We need a better pre-market action than this. As far as levels, you have your high for the last 2 trading days around your price action. If we can break out of that, 951 could be one, and also you have another one right on here, a nice gap at 988. So towards the bottom, previous day close, and if we lose that, we have 649. So I'm going to move this down as a possible. Again, I really like the daily on it. But again, the pre-market just got to get a little bit better. So I'm going to remove it right now. Here it is. So CCL is next. CCL has been so good to us, guys. I mean, it's on our list almost every day. If not this one, NCLH, they've both been very good to trade. 1990 high of the pre-market. Above this, you do have your highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. But also right here, guys, at 2109, you do have an area that you want to mark down. When we gapped up here, this was an area of the low of this gap up. So we want to keep that on there in case we get to that level. We can see some kind of change in direction, or at least loss in momentum. Towards the bottom, guys, you're stuck between highs and lows right now where the price action is. If we can lose the high from from yesterday, which is also very close to the low from today, the pre-market low, you do have your previous day close down here and also the low from yesterday as well. So great area of support. By the way, we have been testing this several times, guys. When we dropped down here, we came back up, we tested this previous day close line, dropped down, consolidated again, one more time, tested it again, and then the last 2 times we tested it, we were able to break out of it. So you want to have that marked down there as well. Here's BA starting to get going. It's sitting at the pre-market high right now. I'm going to mark this one, even if we break through it. This 184 has been tested several times in the pre-market, so you want to have that marked down, even if we break above this over to 186, which it looks like it wants to do. So let's keep an eye on this one. Low of the pre-market sitting at 179.21 towards the bottom, previous day close, and then if we lose that, a great level of resistance that we broke out of here at a 156.02. So plenty of levels here on BA. Beautiful pre-market action right now, guys. You can see here 2.3 million shares traded, and usually when BA is trading well, it's carrying that pre-market activity into the open. Here's AMD. AMD has, as we mentioned earlier, a very interesting daily chart. I think if it was not for yesterday, AMD would be ripping because it had a very strong breakout here a couple of days ago, and you can see here it was getting ready for continuation until yesterday happened. So right now, all you need to mark down, because you have a lot of levels in here already, just the highs and lows of the pre-market at the moment. Pre-market at low at 54, your high at 55.15. Just put that on there and let's see what it's going to do in this range. I think the SPY is going to determine a lot whether this thing is going to go up and down this morning. Here is Play, guys. I like Play this morning. They have a good pre-market action right now. They're up 15%, double digits. Pre-market high at 16.95. Towards the top, you do have the high from 2 days ago. Above that, you do have a level here at 21.32, and obviously all the way up here at 23.39. We had a nice big gap day that we kind of gave some back there. So plenty of levels for Play this morning. Let's see if this thing looks like it's trying to set up for a squeeze here. So we'll keep an eye on this one. Here's Lulu, guys. Again, pre-market action. It's just not looking all that great, but this is typical of this stock. It tends not to have the best pre-market activity. Low of the pre-market at 286.15, and your high sitting at 300 on the dot. So we'll mark that there. Let's see what it wants to do here, guys. Again, towards the top, plenty of levels, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. If we decide to take a dive and come back down, we're going to be looking at possibly 271 if we can get into this area of support right on here. Here is Zoom, guys. Zoom is a favorite of mine. I mean, I think this thing has just been so strong. Every time you think something negative comes out of it, where security, opening up the country a little bit more, it continues to still rally nicely in a couple of really big days. And what we've been seeing out of it is that it pops up, consolidates, and it drops a little bit, and then gives you another pop. So we're seeing that right now on the daily. I'm going to mark this level here at 196.92. Towards the top, you have plenty of levels, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. And I believe we're all-time high on top of that. Right, so yeah, we are all-time high. Look how this thing has been just just ripping here nicely over the last couple of days on Zoom. So I like what I'm seeing. A little bit light on the volume, 98,000, but that's typical of Zoom. We've seen it start off like this and really take off. Questions? Would I consider Lulu bearish? No, I would not. I wouldn't consider any. I won't have any bias on this, because how many times have we seen? This had earnings today, I believe, right? Stocks start off like this, where they gap down and they completely come back, right? So it's, again, you just can't tell what's going to happen. I won't consider this bearish at all. In long term, you don't consider this bearish neither, because look how great Lulu has been. I mean, Lulu was at 130, guys, trading at $300. I mean, that's not bearish. This is this is very strong. But for intraday, we just have to see how the setup is going to be, what opportunities we're going to get here. We could trade a very a bullish stock, a bearish for a couple of minutes, and then it could go on its way, and we can make our money. So that's all that matters when it comes to day trading, right? So let's see what opportunities we can get out of it. If we can get a good continuation, a good indication of a possible opportunity. All right, guys, that is what we have. Let's take a look at some of the possibles. We do have a little bit of time here. So SSL still not looking great pre-market. I thought it was going to continue to break out nicely here, but that hasn't happened. GUNX continues to get some good volume. This is a good one, guys. If you like this type of stock, this is one to watch. You can see some pretty good action happening right now, some really good volume. As far as levels, I think you're covered, guys. Highs and lows from the last two trading days. You probably can mark this level here. I think this will be an important one at 507, close to 5. Several days opening, closing, and testing that with as their low of the day here. So you want to have that there. Above that, you have the highs from 2 days ago. HTC started to get going here, so this is looking nice. So that's another possible as well to have. JFIN. JFIN doesn't look good at all. I'm just going to remove this one. CLDX, also very active, a good couple of days on here. BITA also starting to get going, and NKLA, it's just not doing much. I'm going to remove this one as well. All right, I think that is what we have. Let's see what our moderators are watching. Peter, what do you like this morning?
Yeah, posted my list up there. I'm going to watch some of my old favorites in Microsoft and AMD this morning. They've been good to me the last little few days. I want to see what they're going to do. And then I've got NCLH for the cruise lines and transportation. On my secondary list, I'll be watching some of the airlines in SAVE and AAL. CCL, just because, as you said, it moves every day. How could you not at least throw it on the list there? GNUS, I wasn't going to have my list, but Carlos, you convinced me, because you were talking about it when you went through the levels. It actually looks good. So yeah, it's not a low float, even though it sort of feels like one. Maybe it's because of the low price and this huge move it made up to $12. But the pre-market looks great on it. So we'll see what it does. And then last but not least, Boeing.
Boeing, excellent. Yeah, no, someone mentioned in the chat, I didn't have it at all, and it was not in our list, right? Someone mentioned it on the chat room, and it looks really good. The pre-market starting to get going nicely here, and we got some potential.
The other thing I've been looking at, because Jared had on his list, I know you get to a second, but some of the financials, WFC and C for Citigroup, I may take keep them on my secondary list to see if they start moving in a nice way.
Yeah, WFC has had a couple of really good stuff, man. I'm going to throw it on here as a possible, and then we'll get to Jared's list now. But yeah, WFC, this looks good, guys. And you have some highs and lows already on here. Nice level here at the base of previous day close. Look how strong that base is, guys. And we talked about this before on this stock. Look how beautiful that has been. Every time it comes here, guys, buyers step up. Yeah, we had a dip here in May. We came above that, and again, it just continues to be the area of where buyers are stepping in, and a lot of support is happening there. Let's look at Jared's list. So he's watching a lot on here. Let's see. So candidates PEP, Oxy, Z is his favorite from the banking stocks. He's also watching some ETFs on there. He's watching the VIX, SPY, and WAFU. WAFU. You guys remember this from yesterday? Just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Look at this.
So if you remember, I think Andrew traded this from about $10 up to $12, $13, right in the morning pop on WAFU. And then look where it closed the day, right? Closer to $5. So yeah, you got to be really careful on these ones.
Yep. It was right in here somewhere where he got in, and it's again, exactly. The pop was just perfect time. But again, guys, these type of stocks, You got to be in and out right away. There's no holding on here. There's no adding in or averaging down. You cannot do any of that because you can really blow up your account with something like this. So again, if you are going to trade this type of stock, trade very small. And if not, if you're just starting out, just avoid them completely. There's so many other stuff that you can trade. All right, so that completes Jared's list. Let's see what else we have here. Going to the top, we covered you already. Here we have Thor. He's watching Oxy, American Airlines, CCL, and Play. I like Play a lot today. I think Play has some pretty decent potential here, so we'll see what we can get going there. And then Brian, he's watching Play as well, American Airlines, Save. Save is another one, guys, that looks very good today. It has the best pre-market activity out of all the airlines so far right now. Might not have the most volume, but definitely their pre-market action looks really good today. He's watching BA as well, holding from last night. Excellent, Brian. What was your entry last night on BA? So he probably got in anywhere he got in last night. Obviously was good because he's up quite a bit now, 9%. So nice trade there. And by the way, with that said, if you guys have not signed up to his swing trading alerts, go to our website over at Swing Trading, scroll down, and you can sign up for his alerts. Completely free, very clean email. I think I showed you guys before. Email entry, what we're looking to do. But again, don't just follow, guys. Get the book, understand what's happening, so you're making an informed decision, not just following anyone. Right? That's important. So his entry was at 170.50. Excellent. And then he's watching FAS, CNHR as well. All right, here's Andrew's list. He's watching CCL, American Airlines, and United Airlines. He's watching AMD, C. A lot of people watching C. Let's take a look at what's happening there. C, actually, I think C is looking better than WFC. Oh, no, they both look great. No, take that back. They both look good. And then he's watching Oxy, WFC as well, and CLDX because of Mike's son only. So I'm not sure I know what's going on there, but I can't wait to hear the story when Andrew comes on. All right, guys, so that is what we have. A beautiful list for a Friday. A lot going on here. A lot of stuff in the green. Trade safe. We will see you guys later on at the close at 3:30. Have a great weekend, guys. And as always, you want to go into your weekend knowing you traded well, so it's not time to be a hero. So be cautious. If you've been having a red week, just take it easy today. We have another week next week. Sometimes traders, they want to end that week green. They force it, and next thing you know, they're down more, and you could easily go into a bad situation mentally and physically on your account. So be careful with that. All right.
Just before we go, I want to mention, guys, that BBT is the sponsor of the One Best Trader competition. It's a lot of fun. If you've never been in these competitions, check it out. Registration starts on Monday, so consider it. It's for the month of July. So basically, you basically take your trades in a simulator and you compete against others to see who can sort of do the best over the contest period, which runs from July 6th to the 31st. So it's besttrader.com. Take a look at that. You can use, being that BBT is a sponsor, we offer you a discounted code at $25. Use the code BBT25 and you can get $25 off the registration price. So think about it. It's a good competition. Usually, I don't know what the prizes are on it. Usually they have some pretty darn good prizes too, but if nothing else, the competition gives you bragging rights. So I know Thor's done it in the past and really enjoyed it, as have others. So consider that.
Yeah, I think
as Carlos said, have a great weekend.
Yeah, and I think one of the prizes is actually they take you down to NASDAQ and show you around the exchange. So that's pretty cool. If that's still happening now, so we'll see. Take care, guys. Trade safe.
All right, take care.